Good afternoon. Can everyone hear me well?
Yeah.
First, I'd like to thank the Sisters of Zeta Phi Beta Sorority Incorporated and the Brothers of Phi Beta Sigma Fraternity Incorporated for asking me to speak today. This is a different type of speaking for me because usually when I'm in front of groups, I'm just talking about the brain. But since I want you all to stay awake, I'm not going to do that today. So, in the field that I'm in speech pathology, we work with people every day who have a difficult time communicating. Particularly for me, it's individuals who've had a stroke and they've lost their ability, which can be quite frustrating. And for a lot of them, they know what it is they want to say, but they just can't say it. And so, I found in the course of my career that you can be as smart as you want to be, but if you can't connect with other people, you're really at a big disadvantage. So I want to speak to the scholarship recipients today about a few qualities that I feel are very important for being successful academically and personally. I've created an acronym. In the hospitals, we love acronyms. And since I moved to Hawaii, I've noticed that the military really loves acronyms. But this one is called PACE. So as you move forward in the next phases of your life, I want you to remember to pace yourself. The P stands for perseverance. Steady persistence in a course of action or purpose in spite of difficulties, obstacles, or discouragement. As we move through the phases of our lives, we all experience obstacles that seem too hard to get over. Or we find ourselves discouraged by events or other people. And these negative experiences, they can create a sense of fear within you that can ultimately block you from reaching your goals. Fear can be very paralyzing. And it does this because when you allow fear to set in, your thoughts can only focus on what you can't do. So if all you can think about is what you can't do, there's no room for you to think about what you can do. Now there's also healthy fear. There's something that you should be afraid or fearful of in order to make good decisions and remain safe. For instance, football players wear helmets because there's a fear of head injury. So we all fear fear. However, our reaction to the fear is up to us. There's a saying that a hero and a coward both feel fear, or both fearful. But a hero will convert that fear into fuel, while a coward will allow it to block them. There's a system within us that's called fight or flight. And when we're forced with a situation, our body will either go into the fight mode, which leads us to deal with the situation head on, or flight mode, in which we run away or we freeze. For instance, the goal of a haunted house is to constantly instill fear in you. So then there's the person who's fearful and they run and cry or they stand there and freeze. And then there's the other person who feels fear, but when the goblin or whatever jumps out, they punch them in the nose. So there's two different types. And it's okay to feel fearful because that's natural. You just don't want to let it paralyze you. So how does one persevere through moments like this? You have to find your passion. Because passion is the fuel that drives your dreams to come true and for your goals to be reached. Having passion for something forces you to think about it all the time. It forces you to want it, and it forces you to fight for it. And it gives you motivation. And this motivation will then give you a spirit of confidence. And that confidence will then help you to conquer your fears and look past the negativity to overcome obstacles. So that's perseverance. The A stands for accountability, an obligation or willingness to accept responsibility to account for one's actions. Accountability requires you to do what you need to do, whether you feel like it or not. You will absolutely experience moments when you just don't feel like going to class, you don't feel like writing a paper, you don't want to do a group assignment because your group members aren't participating. And this doesn't change as you get older. There are many times that I want to just call in to work, or I want to stop doing a project, but I have a responsibility to show up. And if I decide not to do something for work, it doesn't just affect me, it affects my students, it affects my colleagues, and our clients that come to our clinic. So I just have to pull it together and do it. I think that the best example of accountability is your parents. Because most parents are always doing what needs to be done, and many times they really don't feel like it. But they cook you dinner after working all day because you have to eat. Some of them work multiple jobs because you need to have a home. And over the years, they spend a lot of their time that could be free time taking you to different places and driving you around to different practices and games and performances when they probably really want to be at home in the bed or watching TV. But they are accountable because they are accountable because they have to, but also because you are important to them. And when you understand the importance of what you're doing, it becomes much easier to be accountable. Being accountable is also being able to look at the role that you play when something doesn't go right, and not blaming others, because blaming others is a cowardly act. The C stands for character, the mental and moral qualities distinctive to an individual. Your character is who you are in your heart. It's represented by the words you say, your actions, and the way you treat people. It's up to you to determine your character. You have the power to do this despite your past, your background, or any bad decisions that you've ever made. Many times when someone's trying to help you find the silver lining when you're working through a problem, they'll tell you that what you're going through reveals your character. But truthfully, crisis doesn't build character, it reveals character. Tough situations will pull out what's already in you, and some reveal a positive character that allows them to persevere, while some reveal a negative character that causes them to fall even deeper into the situation. Another quote that I love says, "What you think about is what will come out of your mouth. What you say will become your actions. Your actions will become your habits, and your habits will become your character." So remember that it all starts with your thoughts. Another important part of having good character is being a person of integrity. Choosing to do what's right, even when it seems that everyone around you is doing wrong. And we all have times in our lives, some of us every day, when we have to choose between right and wrong. You make a decision of whether or not to copy a part of the paper from the internet. You decide not to tell your coworker or your friend about an error because if they keep making a mistake, it'll make you look a little bit better. So you have to keep in mind that your integrity is more important than winning. And this can become difficult when we see others around us who seem like they're doing better than us, but we know that they might just not quite right. Because we all know someone of poor integrity who's cheated to get ahead. But always remember, you don't have to worry about that, because if you recognize it, someone else does too. And eventually their true character comes to the surface. Because see, even when we don't think anyone is watching or paying attention to us, there's always someone in the cut watching all your moves. That's why you can't be worried about what others are doing or not doing, and focusing on your own character and integrity. If you're mindful of your own words and actions, others will respect you and be more willing to follow your lead. If your actions don't match your words, then your words don't have any power, and you can't be an example. Because your character is a reflection of who you are, it is also what determines your reputation. Your reputation, whether it's true or not, will always precede you. It is what other people think about you. So it's very important to be careful what you show others. And today, on social media, a lot of people post about how they don't care what other people think about them. And you shouldn't care about what others think, in the sense that their perceptions cause you to be someone you are not, or if they are negative and hurtful. But you should care about what others think about you if it's someone who cares about you and truly has your best interest at heart. And you should care if it is someone who could positively support your growth and advancement in a particular area. You will always need a reference or a letter of recommendation, and if no one likes you, you can be fresh out of luck. Remember that your gift will get you to the stage, but your character will keep you there. The E in PACE stands for elevation, to move or raise to a higher place of position. not meant to stay in the same place doing the same thing all the time. You are not meant to be in the same place doing the same thing all the time. You are not meant to be mediocre. Mediocre means to peak in the middle. This means that you are not doing really bad, but you're not doing really great either. And this goes back to the discussion of fear. A person typically becomes mediocre when they're afraid to jump. Then there's this person that has no drive to move forward at all. There's a difference between being content and being complacent. A person who is content has accepted where they are in life, but they'll make adjustments where they can and deal with the things that they cannot change. The complacent individual also accepts where they are, but they have no intentions to make any changes. So it's okay to be content, but not to be complacent. To move from a place of mediocrity and complacency, you must neglect what you're good at and focus on what you're great at. Don't accept the good enough or the it is what it is mentality. Put time and effort into your craft so that you can become great at it. Don't shortchange yourself or give yourself limits on what you can do. If you graduate high school, you can finish college. And you finish college, you can keep going, you can get a master's, you can get a doctorate. Please get a doctorate. We need more people to do that. You'll get a job, and your parents really want you to. And when you get a job, what do you do in the company? Do you stay at the entry level? Do you move up to supervisor positions? Do you want to become a manager or CEO? Or do you want to start your own business? If you always think ahead and you have plans to elevate, you'll stay motivated to work hard. Big key point, write down your goals. In my speech, this is in all caps. You must write down your goals. So remember the quote on your thoughts becoming your words and your actions and so forth. If you visualize your thoughts, you keep them at the forefront of your mind. Another major part of elevation is to be connected with like-minded individuals. You must build a support system that you can count on for encouragement if you don't already have one. Seek out experts in your area of interest. You cannot elevate very much if you're only around other people who are not doing anything or who may be stuck at mediocre. There must be mentors in your life that can pour into you and guide you in the right direction. Just keep in mind to use discernment when selecting your mentors because you don't want to tell all your hopes and dreams to the wrong person. When it comes to individuals who are stuck at being mediocre, I'm not saying to completely cut them off because elevation is not only for you. There's also the charge for you to elevate others. When you reach your goals, remember to support those who are trying to get to where you are. Always share the knowledge that you gain with others because you might just motivate them to want more. Remain or learn to be humble. As I stated before, your gift will get you to the stage, but your character will keep you there. The great thing about these 4 qualities that I've discussed is that they are not something that you have to be born with. They are all qualities that you can choose. You can decide to persevere through obstacles and be hero or the coward. You can choose to be or not to be accountable for your actions. It is your decision to be a person of good character and integrity or be mean and envious of others. And you get to decide if you want to make efforts to elevate yourself and others along the way or just be mediocre. In other words, you can choose to pace yourself. Thank you.
And David's name will represent him right there. The next phase of this program will be the presentation of scholarships. But before we go into them,